Hey, and happy Friday. Jessica Hayes here, founder of the Lockbox Advantage, checking in because I am still having conversations with a ton of agents who are feeling very, very concerned about how they're going to explain commissions when this transition happens in August. And in case you missed the memo, it is now August. It was July, August now. So we have put together some scripts for that. And I'm just going to go through them with you as a group right now. And the goal is just to help you really build some confidence around exactly what to say and how to say it in whatever scenario you are coming up against. So first, as a listing agent, the assumption is like we no longer know how much the seller is going to be contributing to a buyer's agent's commission. We have no way of knowing that. We have no crystal ball. So per our listing process, we highly recommend that you're going to be preparing a estimated net sheet when you're going on your listing consultation. You want to make sure that your clients are prepared for the amount of profit they're going to retain from the sale of their property. That number makes their transition to their next property a nice, smooth, and simple one, right? Now, when we are preparing these estimates, I think we would be doing our clients a strong disservice if we ignored the possibility of them contributing to a buy-side commission. I would much rather have my clients prepared to pay a buyer's agent in the form of a credit or in the form of a direct payment versus having them be shocked when that's the only offer that we have on the table. So my advice is to go ahead and put that in there and just explain, hey, my fee is X%. And I've also included a reasonable concession to account for a buyer's agent's commission to give you a realistic expectation for what your net profit might be when we settle. Many buyers in our marketplace are not financially able to absorb the cost of their agent's commission, and it's likely that the highest netting offer we receive will include a concession of some sort to offset their cash to close. Keep in mind the actual amount of commission the buyer's agent will receive is going to be set between that agent and the buyer. And the amount that you actually contribute to it is going to be negotiated through the contract. So when we review offers, I'm going to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples and clearly identifying the net offer price for each contract that we receive. And ultimately, you are not going to be obligated to pay anything that you don't agree to. Simple, okay? Now, when we talk about how to present your commission as a buyer's agent, again, we have these processes kind of laid out for you in the LBI library. You want to make sure that you are sitting down for a proper consultation with your buyer clients. You should be reviewing the process, reviewing the contract, and preparing them for every decision point they're going to be coming up against when it comes time to write an offer. Now, that being the case, once you've presented that process, once you've helped them to build a plan, your very next conversation is going to be to present them with the agency agreement, right? So this is a document that grants me your permission to act on your behalf in securing your next home. It details out our commitments to one another throughout this process, mainly that I agree to act in your best interest and with the highest possible standard of care, and that you agree that in return, the permission you've granted me is exclusively mine, meaning you'll not be working with other agents while we are actively working together. My fee is X%. Traditionally, that fee is covered in one of three ways. We can negotiate for the seller to pay the entire fee directly to my brokerage. Or we can negotiate for the seller to credit you towards your closing costs for all or part of my fee in order to offset your cash to close, which would include my fee in this instance. And lastly, we also have the option for you to completely absorb that fee, and we can forego negotiating that matter in the contract altogether. Very, very simple, okay? Now, when it comes time to negotiate offers, we're going to partner carefully with your lender to make sure that all of the contracts are structured in a way that makes the most sense for you financially and that you're able to move forward with confidence. Sign here to get started. Nice and simple, okay? So we show our value, then we explain our fee. We give them a path for how that fee is going to be paid, and then we reassure them, okay, with the promise that whatever makes the most sense for them, that's the contract that we're going to make sure we negotiate. Plain and simple. Now, lastly, there's going to be some general public questions, right? Maybe even people who are prospects but not clients yet, not ready to commit to having a proper consultation, but they have concerns about what this might mean for them and their ability to buy or sell in your market. It's super simple. So this agreement itself has been submitted to the courts for review, and if approved, it will now go into effect on August 17th, 2024. The purpose of the agreement is to provide a decoupling of agent commissions to ensure that the dollar amount of a buyer's agent commissions is set between the buyer and their agent, and that ultimately the amount the seller contributes to that fee remains negotiable between the buyer and the seller. And this is being accomplished by removing the offer of cooperating compensation from the MLS completely. The agreement does not, however, dictate how the buyer's agent commission can be funded. Okay, the agreement, if approved by the court, is simply going to mean that we need to structure our offers to purchase accordingly. Buyers and sellers can choose to negotiate any of the following options. The seller can absorb the fee and pay it directly to the buyer's brokerage through escrow. The seller can choose to credit either all or part of the fee to the buyer, and ultimately the buyer would be paying for the fee out of their cash to close. Or the buyer can choose to absorb that fee in its entirety, and they can choose to move forward without any seller credit whatsoever. While this does represent a slight change in process, it's really not as sensational as the media would have you believe. In every real estate transaction, there are three basic things that happen. The buyer delivers funds to an escrow agent, whether that's in the form of cash or obtained financing, right? Some combination. All of the money comes from the buyer and is delivered to escrow funds and allocate them according to written instructions that are signed by all parties. And they first will pay off all costs associated with the sale. That includes any loan payoffs, transfer taxes, recording fees, title fees, insurance fees, HOA fees, and yes, agent commissions are part of that process. Now, the last thing that happens after all of those fees are covered is that whatever is left over, that remaining equity, is deemed the seller's net profit, and the escrow agent delivers that profit to the seller at the end of the day. Now, ultimately, these fundamental steps are going to remain relatively unchanged, with the small exception that now the written instructions for how the buyer's agent is going to be compensated are going to be located across two documents: the buyer-broker agreement and also the sales contract itself, as opposed to being predetermined in a listing contract. Very, very simple, okay? That's it. That's all that's happening. So if you can explain that confidently to your consumer, I'm confident that you're going to be able to get the deal done. If you want these scripts exactly verbatim, log into the free resource library at thelockboxadvantage.com. They are there to help you. I hope you rip off and duplicate, and it is helpful to you in your business. That's the goal. If you have any questions, if we can help you at all, connect with us through the website. Otherwise, have a great day, my friends, and we'll see you next week. Oh, actually, next week, we are going to be interviewing Ramon Pardo with Terra Properties. And this guy is awesome. One of my favorite clients. He runs community event that he calls Reggae on the Lake in Reston, Virginia. And this event, it's a music festival that attracts international artists and around 5,000 to 6,000 attendees every single year. He's going to talk to us about exactly how it all started and how he has built his reputation as a community ambassador to really build his business through these events. So I'm excited to have that conversation with him. I hope that you guys are excited to hear from him, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day, guys.